Loro Languaged Podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. This is your cozy corner for natural English practice and real-life conversations. I'm Jayden.
And I'm Aria. We are so happy to have you here with us today.
Now, before we jump into today's topic, we have one tiny favor to ask. If you enjoy listening to us, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It really helps other English learners find us.
Exactly. And we would also love it if you left a comment down below. It can be super simple. Just tell us where you're listening from or share your thoughts on today's topic.
And you know what? Typing a comment is actually a great way to practice your English without even realizing it. Your brain is working, choosing vocabulary, putting words in order. It is real practice.
That is so true. So please, don't be nervous about making mistakes. Even just one short sentence is totally fine. We genuinely love reading your thoughts.
All right, are you ready? Let's get right into today's topic.
I want to start today with a very common small talk situation. You meet someone new, maybe a coworker, a classmate, a neighbor, or someone at a party. The conversation starts normally. They ask where you're from, what you do, and how long you have lived here.
And then suddenly they ask, "What do you like to do in your free time?"
Exactly. And for some reason, that simple question makes your brain stop working.
It is such a normal question, but it can feel strangely difficult to answer in English.
Yes, because you know your hobbies, but when someone asks in English, suddenly you feel like you have no personality.
That is so true. You stand there thinking, do I even have hobbies? Who am I as a person?
Then you say something very short like, I like music, or I like movies, and then the conversation dies.
Because the answer is correct, but it does not give the other person much to respond to.
Right? So today we are talking about how to talk about your favorite hobbies in English in a natural way.
Not just listing hobbies.
Exactly. Not just saying, I like reading, I like cooking, I like hiking. That is okay, but it is only the beginning.
A good hobby answer needs a little story.
Yes, a little detail, a little feeling, and a little reason. Something that makes the other person want to keep talking.
So today we will help listeners turn a simple hobby answer into a real conversation.
Exactly. Because talking about hobbies is not just about vocabulary. It is about showing a little bit of yourself.
Give us an example.
If someone asks me what I do in my free time, and I say I like drawing, that is fine. But it is flat.
It is like a label.
Yes. But if I say I like drawing small, cozy scenes, usually cafes, plants, and quiet rooms, it helps me relax after a busy day. Now you know much more about me.
And now I can ask follow-up questions. Do you draw digitally or on paper? How long have you been doing that?
Exactly. That is how a conversation opens.
So the first idea is this. Do not just name the hobby. Add a small detail.
Yes. Instead of saying I like cooking, you can say I like cooking simple homemade food, especially on the weekend.
Instead of saying I like music, say I like listening to soft music when I clean or work.
Instead of saying I like hiking, say I like hiking because it helps me clear my head.
So the structure is simple. I like hobby plus detail plus reason.
Exactly. I like cooking simple meals because it helps me slow down.
I like watching movies, especially older comedies, because they help me relax.
Perfect. Not difficult English, but much more natural.
Let us create a scene. You are at work. A new coworker joins the team. During lunch, they ask, "What do you usually do after work?"
A lot of learners might answer, I watch videos.
Which is honest.
Very honest, but a little flat.
So how can we make it better?
You can say, after work, I usually watch cooking videos or travel videos. I like watching something relaxing because my day is already busy.
That gives personality.
Yes, your coworker can say, "What kind of cooking videos do you watch?" Or, "Do you like traveling?"
Now the conversation has somewhere to go.
Exactly. A hobby answer should give the other person a handle.
A handle. Something they can grab and respond to.
Yes, if you say, "I like movies," there is no handle. If you say, "I like mystery movies because I enjoy guessing the ending," now there is a handle.
I can ask, what is a good mystery movie? Or do you usually guess correctly?
Exactly.
Let us talk about people who feel like they do not have interesting hobbies.
This is very common. A lot of people think hobbies must be impressive.
Like rock climbing, oil painting, pottery, or running marathons.
Yes, but hobbies do not have to sound impressive. They just have to be real.
That is important.
If you enjoy walking after dinner, that is a hobby. If you like trying new coffee shops, that is a hobby. If you enjoy watching documentaries, taking photos of your cat, or looking at home decor ideas, those are all things you can talk about.
So the problem is not that people have no hobbies. The problem is that they judge their hobbies too much.
Exactly. They think, "My hobby is too boring." Nobody wants to hear that. I like watching YouTube.
But everyone watches YouTube.
Exactly. The interesting part is not the hobby itself. The interesting part is why you like it and how it fits into your life.
For example, I like watching repair videos because I enjoy seeing broken things become useful again.
That is actually interesting.
Right? Watching videos sounds basic, but the reason makes it personal.
Exactly. Or, I like going to grocery stores and looking at new snacks.
That is very specific.
Specific is memorable.
So a simple hobby can become interesting when it is specific.
Yes. Instead of "I like shopping," say, "I like looking for small home items like mugs, candles, and storage boxes. I do not always buy them. I just enjoy looking."
That is very real.
And many people can relate.
Let us give listeners a useful phrase. I am not super serious about it, but I enjoy it.
That is a great one.
Because sometimes you like something casually, but you are not an expert.
Exactly. Many learners avoid talking about hobbies because they think the other person will ask expert questions.
Like if you say you like photography, someone might ask, what camera do you use? And suddenly you panic.
Yes, but you can say, "I am not super serious about it, but I enjoy taking photos on my phone."
That lowers the pressure.
It does. You're saying, "I like this, but I am not claiming to be a professional."
Another phrase is, I'm just getting into it.
Yes, that means you recently started,
I'm just getting into gardening.
or "I'm just getting into baking."
Or I'm just getting into hiking.
Exactly. It invites the other person to share tips or ask questions.
That is useful because hobbies are a great way to connect with people.
Yes. If you say, "I'm just getting into gardening," someone might say, "Oh, I love gardening. What are you growing?"
Then you can say, honestly, just one small plant, and I'm trying not to kill it.
That is a very human answer.
And funny.
Let us talk about another situation. You are at a small gathering. A friend invited you, but you do not know many people. Someone asks, "What do you do for fun?"
That question feels harder than what are your hobbies?
Yes, because "what do you do for fun" sounds like you need to prove that you are a fun person.
Exactly.
But you can answer simply, "Lately, I have been really into cooking at home."
Lately is a useful word.
Very useful. It makes the answer feel natural and current.
Lately, I have been really into podcasts.
Lately, I have been trying to go for more walks.
Lately, I have been watching old movies.
Exactly. You do not have to describe your whole identity. You can just talk about what you have been enjoying recently.
That feels easier.
Another good phrase is, these days, I am really into.
These days, I'm really into baking bread.
These days, I'm really into home workouts.
These days, I'm really into learning about cars.
Yes. These phrases sound natural because hobbies change. You might not do the same thing forever.
Sometimes your hobby is seasonal.
Exactly. In winter, maybe you like staying home, cooking soup, and watching shows. In summer, maybe you like walking by the lake or visiting parks.
So you can say, in the summer, I like hiking, but in the winter, I mostly stay inside and watch movies.
That sounds very natural.
Let us talk about how to continue after you mention your hobby.
Good point. The first answer is only step one.
If someone says they like running, what can you ask?
You can ask, how long have you been doing that?
Very useful.
Or, how did you get into it?
That is even better.
Yes. How did you get into it means how did you start liking it?
For example, if I say I like cooking, you can ask, how did you get into cooking?
And you might say, I started during the pandemic because I was eating at home more.
Now there is a story.
Exactly. Hobbies often have a beginning story.
Aria, how did you get into drawing?
I started drawing when I was a kid, but I got back into it as an adult because I needed something quiet. My life felt busy, and drawing gave me a place to slow down.
That is a beautiful answer.
See, it is not just I like drawing, it is a small personal story.
And I can ask, what do you usually draw when you want to relax?
Exactly. And I could say, usually cozy rooms, little cafes, plants, windows, warm lights, things like that.
Now I can actually imagine your hobby.
That is the goal. Help people imagine it.
So do not only say the category, show the scene.
Yes. If your hobby is cooking, describe the scene. Maybe Sunday morning, quiet kitchen, music playing, soup on the stove.
If your hobby is walking, describe where. I like walking around my neighborhood after dinner, especially when the weather is nice.
If your hobby is gaming, describe what kind. I like cozy games where I can build things and relax.
This is how simple English becomes interesting.
Exactly.
Let us talk about hobbies that people feel embarrassed about.
Like watching reality shows, collecting cute things, playing mobile games, scrolling home design ideas, or watching cleaning videos.
You like cleaning videos, right?
I do. There is something relaxing about watching someone clean a messy room. It makes me feel like my life is also becoming organized, even when I'm just lying on the couch.
That is a great hobby answer. It is specific and funny.
Exactly. You can own your hobby. You can say, it might sound silly, but I actually enjoy watching cleaning videos. They are relaxing.
That phrase is useful. It might sound silly, but
Yes. It lets you introduce something casual or funny.
it might sound silly, but I collect mugs.
It might sound silly, but I love reading restaurant menus online.
People do that?
I do that.
That is strangely charming.
Thank you.
Another useful phrase is, my guilty pleasure is.
Yes. Guilty pleasure means something you enjoy, even though it might be a little embarrassing or not very serious.
My guilty pleasure is watching cooking competitions.
My guilty pleasure is buying cute notebooks I do not need.
That one sounds personal.
Very personal.
Let us talk about asking the other person back.
Very important. If someone asks about your hobbies, do not only answer and stop.
You should return the question.
Yes. After you answer, say, what about you?
Simple and effective.
Or, do you have any hobbies you're into these days?
That sounds natural.
Or, have you tried anything new recently?
That is a great question.
Yes. It makes the conversation less like an interview and more like a real exchange.
Let us create a sample conversation.
Okay.
Someone asks, "What do you like to do in your free time?"
You can say, lately, I have been really into baking. I'm not great at it, but I like trying simple recipes on the weekend. It helps me relax. What about you?
That is perfect. It gives hobby level, timing, reason, and returns the question.
Exactly. It is simple, but complete.
Another example, I like going for walks after dinner. I usually listen to podcasts while I walk. It helps me clear my head after work. Do you like walking too?
Very natural.
Another one, I'm just getting into photography. I mostly take pictures with my phone, especially when I see nice light or interesting streets.
That sounds real.
And then you can ask, are you into photography at all?
Exactly.
Let us talk about hobbies you used to do but stopped.
That is also very useful.
Because sometimes people ask, what are your hobbies? And you think, I used to have hobbies, but now I'm just tired.
Very relatable.
How do you say that in English naturally?
You can say, I used to paint, but I have not done it in a while.
That sounds natural.
Or, I used to play tennis, but life got busy.
Life got busy is very useful.
Yes. It explains everything.
You can also say, I am trying to get back into it.
Perfect. I used to read a lot, and I am trying to get back into it.
That sounds like a real adult hobby answer.
Yes. Many adults are not always actively doing hobbies. Sometimes they are trying to return to something they used to love.
That is actually a nice conversation topic.
It is. Someone might ask, what kind of books did you use to read? Or why did you stop?
Again, story.
Yes. Hobbies are doorways to stories.
Let us talk about how to describe skill level.
Good point. People often worry about saying they like something because they are not good at it.
Like, can I say I like singing if I am a terrible singer?
Yes. Of course, you can say, I'm not very good at it, but I enjoy it.
That is a great phrase.
I am not very good at dancing, but I enjoy it.
I am not very good at cooking, but I enjoy trying.
I'm not very good at drawing, but it helps me relax.
That removes the pressure.
Exactly. A hobby does not have to be a performance.
You do not have to be good at something to enjoy it.
Exactly.
Let us give listeners a simple formula.
Formula 1. I like hobby because reason.
I like gardening because it makes me feel calm.
Formula 2. I am into hobby these days.
I'm into baking these days.
Formula 3. I am not very good at it, but I enjoy it.
I am not very good at singing, but I enjoy it.
Formula 4. I used to hobby, and I'm trying to get back into it.
I used to read a lot, and I'm trying to get back into it.
Formula 5. I'm just getting into hobby.
I'm just getting into hiking.
These 5 patterns can already help you talk about almost any hobby.
And they are not difficult.
Exactly. The goal is not to sound fancy. The goal is to sound real.
Let us review the key ideas.
First, do not just name the hobby. Add a detail.
Second, explain why you like it.
Third, describe when or how you do it.
Fourth, do not worry if your hobby is simple.
Fifth, ask the other person back.
And sixth, remember that you do not need to be good at a hobby to talk about it.
Exactly. You can enjoy something casually.
So, next time someone asks, what do you like to do in your free time? Do not panic.
Start simple.
Say, lately I have been into.
Or, I like it because.
Or, I am not very good at it, but I enjoy it.
Give one detail, one reason, and one question back.
That is a great mini structure. The more you practice these small conversations, the easier small talk becomes.
Yes. Your hobbies are a perfect place to start.
Because when you talk about what you enjoy, Your English feels more alive.
Exactly. And that is real English for real life.
Well, that brings us to the end of today's conversation.
We really hope you enjoyed it. And remember, no matter what you're struggling with right now, whether it is saving money, learning English, or just getting through the week, take it one step at a time. Be kind to yourself.
Absolutely. Learning a language is a journey, and you are doing great just by being here and listening.
If you found this episode helpful, or even just a little bit funny, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. It is the best way to support what we do.
And please don't forget to leave a comment down below. Tell us what you thought about today's topic, or just say hi. We read every single comment, and we love hearing from you.
Thank you so much for spending your time with us today. Keep practicing, keep speaking, and trust the process.
We will catch you in the next episode. Take care, everyone. Bye.